Good morning. It is time for Mix It Up Monday. Oh, I need to put this on so hopefully you can hear me better. So if you come on, let me know if you can hear me. This morning we're doing things a little differently. I normally take a couple techniques from previous designs and put them together, but today we're just going to do some finishing steps. And I've been working on this beautiful black kitty for some time. This is actually our family cat that we had for many, many years. Her name was Coco, and she was an amazing kitty. Actually, let me start this guy. Um, I was just playing, see how the palette knife would feel on this. I don't really want to put this flat black on here, but I was just kind of feeling it out. But I have a few fun products we're going to try to do a little finishing techniques. And I'm going to show you some of the things that we typically do when we're finishing Design of the Month projects. I have a little string here. It's just this copper string that I'm going to use to accent a few of these little, I'm going to outline some areas, I think. So I'm going to use a little bit of the glue. I'm going to make her eyes a little more dramatic. If you're coming on and you would like to say, hey, I would love to know you're here. If you're watching the replay, would love your comments and your feedback about our videos and how we can make them better for you. But today we're just going to work on Miss Coco for a little bit. I'm just going to show you a few little techniques. I was trying to be real true to color for her, just because I wanted it to be a true likeness, because she was our family cat for a number of years. But that hasn't gone exactly the way I hoped. It wasn't as easy to do with a black cat. Black cats that have all kinds of varied colors, some things mixed media lends itself to very, very, very easily. Sometimes, for black cat, maybe a charcoal drawing would have been the thing to do. But I'm just going to outline her nose a little bit and what I've done, let me tell you a little bit about what I had done so far, which was pretty much I did a little background technique with a palette knife. And I also did, I just created a bunch of texture, and then I blocked her in with black paint. And then most of this is just paper that I have added throughout the, actually weeks. I've worked on this for weeks at a time. Different times when I've had time. This has been an ongoing project. Sometimes, we do things in a shorter amount of time, but this has definitely been a little labor of love that I've worked on for a while. And so I'm just going to keep defining her nose a little bit, just show you kind of get the idea of how I'm going to do that. I'm going to get one more piece on here and then we'll move on to another little technique. And I'm going to do some painting as well. A lot of times when we're doing our finishing, the way we finish things, typically we end with glue. At least that's the way we always did it in the studio when we were doing like a class that, see if you can even see. When we were doing a class in a 2-hour time span, like you would do a paint party, we have a limited amount of time to get things done. So we would typically finish out with our glued on items, like our buttons and little ephemeral treasures that we kept in the studio for folks to choose from. And but I think it's kind of fun to I always like to push things a little bit to the next level. Um, so I'm gonna work on I'll continue to work on her nose, but you guys can tell me if you can see it, how you think that's looking. I just want to build it up a little bit, and I might even paint over this a little bit just to it just depends. So I will keep working on that, but I want to share some fun little finishing products that we use quite a bit in the studio. And this is a metallic luster black shimmer that is really fun to just add with your digits. You can use a brush, but I'm just going to brighten up some of these areas because I think part of the reason why she doesn't look super authentic to me is because she just had her fur was just so lustrous and full and shiny and beautiful. She was a avid groomer and she was very dedicated to her grooming, and always her coat was just amazingly beautiful and shiny. So I definitely think adding a little shine um, is gonna brighten this up. And I have some glittery paper in here already, which is kind of doing that. But I'm just gonna do a little for now, and we'll kind of see how that works out. So you'll see in places here where it's a little shinier, that is my glue, actually, the Mod Podge. And after I get all this shimmer on here, I will put a finish coat on the whole thing. So it will be one solid sheen. My shiny things will shine through, like we'll use a clear medium gel, and my shiny stuff will still shine and be shiny and shimmery and glittery. All those things will show through the matte medium, but the clear gel matte medium, but they'll also, it'll give the whole overall canvas. We won't have shiny paint here and flat paint here and that kind of thing. It'll all be one beautiful finish. So I'm really liking the way this is brightening up her coat, her beautiful fur. I'm going to even do it on these edge pieces because I actually created this from a photo. And maybe if y'all are interested in seeing the photo, I can post that with her. But I don't have a copy of it to show you right now. But I started with the photo, and so she ended up being, just more of a she started looking more of like just a black cat composition rather than our Coco. It doesn't really feel true to form for Coco. So I'm just kind of dedicated, I think, to trying to make it look a little bit more like her. So I'm going to even cover up some of this white because she was definitely black. She was one of those smoke kitty cats that has sort of a shimmer coat underneath. So you guys can let me know if you like cats. I thought the day before Halloween it'd be kind of fun to work on this black cat, our beautiful Coco girl. It seemed appropriate. So I'm actually going over some of this paper that I used to lighten up, because I needed some variation because she's solid black, but there were some highlights and things. And so I'm actually some of these are a little bit bright, and I think going over it with this shimmer, if you're just tuning in, we're using this fun little black shimmer espresso glaze from Metallic Luster. It's from a Deco Art. It's a Deco Art product, and I can try to. They're not an affiliate for me, but I can post that link for you below. I don't think they have to be. I can post it for you if you like. So I'm just going to keep lightening this up a little bit. So I think you guys actually kind of get the idea. I'm going to show you a couple more Can you see how that's lightening up? Is that showing up on camera? I hope so. And if you have any questions about any of these things I'm using, I'm happy to share what I can. Another thing that I'm planning on doing, I showed you the copper. I also have those tassels that are beautifully wrapped, but they have some great little. I always take this kind of stuff apart, and I have a little saying, and that is, um, if you can't celebrate an item that you're adding, like, you might want a button to look like a button. It might be part of what makes the design unique and fun, and you may want it to look like a button. But if you don't want it to look like a button, I think it's a good idea to transform it. So one of my little um, isms, or whatever you want to call it, that I say a lot in the studio is, if you can't celebrate it, transform it. So I like breaking up things and using them in a sort of unexpected way. I just think it's it's fun, it's challenging. And one of the things when I was in art school, um, we talked a lot about, we don't want people to look at our art and go, "Oh, that took a really long time." We don't want them to get too focused on the details and not appreciate the art piece as a whole. And so I think that's part of why, I think saying, transform it, don't make it look like, make it fit into the whole plan, and make it work and not be distracting. So I guess that's probably what I mean by that, is make it look like part of the piece instead of a distraction. And that's not a rule by any stretch, but it's kind of a little. I also use a rule of thirds a lot. um, I think a strong design has sort of at least three really standout elements. And so I don't know what you guys think about. Let me know. You probably couldn't see me doing that while I was doing it, but let me know what you think about maybe adding some of these little fibers along the edge. It might be a little bit tedious. I wouldn't do it all the way around, but maybe in places to give it some texture. And some of it I've been able to build with paper. But I have another fun little shimmer product that this is also a Deco Art product. It's the Obsidian metallic paint. And I'm going to add a little bit of this to, I have shine on my background, so I don't need to really add it to that. But I'm just going to use my palette knife to add this in places to give it another layer of shine. And I'm going to I don't want to bring out the texture in a way, because she was long, silky hair. She wasn't, it wasn't coarse. So I don't want to necessarily make things look coarse, but I do want to, feature some of the fun texture on this piece. And so this little copper part, I want to obscure that because I don't need it to be super bright. And I'm going to actually go over this part as well. So the copper still kind of shows through. It's still lighter than the black, but it kind of, this to me is a good example of how sometimes we don't take things all the way. We would just say, "Oh, well, that looks okay," and we'll leave it. And that's okay to do that for sure. But sometimes if we just add one more little touch or one more little thing, we can just push it a little further. And I actually really like the way that is turning out, because I like the texture of all of this, but it's not real true to her color. So I want to keep it, but I just don't want it to be quite as much of the focus. So that was one way. That's one way you can kind of go back in and correct things. And I can even build, I don't know if you can see that, but I could even build this up and make some sort of fluid textural, um, not building too much texture, but again, just adding another layer of fun. So you can let me know what you think of that. You guys are not being very talkative, but I'm glad you're watching and hanging out with me. If you feel like chatting and you want to add anything, I would love to hear what you think. So this is my final little fall thing. We are going full Christmas after this week. I promised, and I will deliver. And I have some fun things to tell you about. So I really like the way I'm going to let that dry a little bit. I'm going to see how I like it dry, but I think that is going to add a lot. And then there's one more thing I'm going to do this morning with you guys. So I probably would do a little highlighting also with this pearl. It's basically same product, different color, but I really love, love, love the luster of this pearl. So actually let's do a little touch and I'll show you. Oh, I always have to stir this one. Where's my sticks? I moved some stuff around. I'm always trying to improve my layout and make it more functional. And I actually did a little video talking. I did a little podcast that I posted last week if you're interested in watching that. I'm doing a little series called Find Your Inner Artist, and I'm just kind of sharing tips of, making your workspace more functional and some storage tips, just things that have helped me, and hopefully they can help you as well. But let's just do a little bit of this and see. I think, I'll just do it maybe on the edges, just in a few little places. And then, so what's starting to happen is I like the patterns of the paper. And in a lot of cases, in doing mixed media, the pattern of the paper becomes part of the design, and I love that. But sometimes, I like obscuring it a little bit more. And that's what this will end up doing. So I kind of like that. Is that reading? This is such a big canvas. I'm not working where you can see it. I'm sorry. Here we go. Let me do a little bit where you can see it. So I would maybe do a little bit on her face here and just obscure that. I probably will mix some of that black metallic in there as well. But let's see. So let me know what you guys think. How is that reading on camera? Is it showing up? Okay, don't tell me. That's okay too. You can just watch. But if you're watching the replay and you want to share what you think, I'd love to hear. And if anytime you want to chime in, and I'd love to hear what you do. What are your favorite things that you use to finish your mixed media pieces? Maybe I would love to know if you make mixed media, and any tips that you have that you would like to share with the creative community. We're always appreciative because there are definitely lots of ways to do things. So I'm actually using a little bit of this, another DecoArt product. It's metallic paint. This is called the Festive Green. I love this. This is almost empty because I use it quite a bit. But I'm just this accent of her green eye, I did it with a watercolor that I love, Vita, Colors by Vita. But I'm going to just go over that a tiny, tiny bit to just bring it up a little bit and make it stand out a little bit more. And I could actually use that um, pearl in her eye highlight, that would be a good place to use it as well. Just to make that a little shinier. And I also have a little bit of the blue to just, I'm not covering the watercolor that I did, but I'm just adding a little bit of, let's see, I'm going to bring that close. I'm going to bring this one closer to you. So I'm just taking this, and this is ice blue. And where I've made her blue eyes, and they're nice and shimmery. I'm going to just bring this a little closer for you. But I'm just going to add a little definition in places, not everywhere. Like sort of the edges, just to make her waterline or eyeliner line stand out, if you will. I'll try not to smear the rest of this. So when that dries, that'll actually give it a little definition on the edges of her eyes. Just add some dimension to make it stand out a little bit more. So I would love to know what you guys think about Coco. If you have any suggestions for finishing her out, I definitely have worked on her for a while. I think I am going to finish her today, and I will actually share a couple little things I have coming up. We have a little holiday bundle that I'll be promoting the next couple of weeks. I don't know. Oh, the lighting is so bad. Let me try it this way. So this is a little postcard, poinsettia postcard, and we have a template for it and a little video coming out for you guys. And then we've added a card making series of with our Campy Christmas chalkboard and our ornaments. So we've got card version and ornament version, but I'll tell you more about that in the coming weeks. So that's something to look forward to. We'll talk more about that next week. But I'm going to keep working on Coco, and I hope you guys have a happy spooky week. And I would love to hear from you guys, and you can check us out on Facebook or Instagram and follow us here. I'm going to post the links to the series that we're doing for you that are the Mixed Up Monday, so you can catch some of the other ones if you'd like. And then the Finding Your Inner Artist is also, I think, somewhat helpful. Hopefully you'll find something there as well. And then mixed media meditations are a little bit longer videos where you'll see, like I'm filming up here of what I'm doing here. So you'll actually be able to see the techniques better. It's more of a watch, not interact like we're doing here. So if you watch the replay, let me know. And I hope you'll like and comment and subscribe, and we'll keep bringing you more. And I hope you have a great week. Thanks for tuning in.